all of those questions. But the thing is, I ask people, I ask teachers, if I had £20 in my account, I would get the last train ticket and go to London to listen to a lecture. I was so desperate to save my iman. And this is how I was able to develop and grow that muscle in the beginning years of my practicing life. Wallahi, I remember it. I was a young boy and I would struggle with my faith. And I said to myself, you know what? If I'm going to practice Islam, I'm going to do it properly. Because I'm giving up going to the nightclubs and going to the raves and hanging out with the girls and smoking weed. I'm giving up all of that. I want to give all of that up now to pursue this path of Jannah. But is Jannah true or not? I want to know. Ya Allah, help me. Help me discover and know, and help me create that identity, and help me build that yaqeen in my heart. Oh Allah, I don't want to just believe, I want to have certainty. I want to reach that state of iman where I have yaqeen and certainty that this is the truth. And so every single day in sajda I would make the dua to Allah, Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. And that was the only thing that kept me firm in the early days. Oh, turner of the hearts, oh, the one who turns the hearts, make my heart firm and steadfast upon your religion. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that the heart is like a boiling water, a pot of water. What does a boiling water do? It bubbles, it goes up and down, it shakes and it moves. One day, the heart, your iman, you listen to these lectures and you go away and you feel so strong. The next day, someone pops up on Snapchat and they message you and you feel so weak. We are human beings. We have faults, we have flaws, we have weaknesses, every single one of us. Every single one of us will have high moments and will have weak moments. And this is a reality that we all need to understand, and you're not a bad person if you have bad days. You're not a bad person if you have days where you don't feel like praying, but you still get up and do it. You're not a bad person if you have days where you feel like taking off the hijab, but you still wear it for the sake of Allah. You are not a bad person. But just know that through these difficulties and challenges, I'm going to share some things with you that will help you navigate through this now, inshallah. The first thing, my beloved brothers and sisters, is to know that one of the biggest problems that we are finding amongst Muslims today, especially in the West, is this thing of just-in-case Muslims. Now, what is a just-in-case Muslim? A just-in-case Muslim is a Muslim that practices the religion just in case there is a hereafter. Just in case Islam is true. Just in case maybe there's a God. Okay? That's a just-in-case Muslim. And wallahi, the thing that separates us from the Christians and us from the non-Muslims and us from other religions is the fact that Islam is not a religion of blind faith. It's not a religion where you have to say, oh, okay, just believe, that's it. There's no... Allah Azza wa Jal in the Quran, He said, Ulil Albab. This religion and the knowledge of the Quran and our religion is for Ulil Albab, those people who think and reflect, and those people who know, those people who ground themselves in reality. And wallahi, brothers and sisters, I want to share one thing with you guys. I went to Spain in November. I went to Islamic Spain in November. And I want to let you guys know on what happened in Spain. When I went to Islamic Spain, if you don't know about Islamic Spain, you need to know about Islamic Spain. Islamic Spain was the golden age of Islam, the greatest civilization, the greatest generation that Islam has ever existed amongst. They had sewages, running water, irrigation. They had so much. They had libraries upon libraries, thousands of libraries, over 800 hospitals, so many Islamic schools. You think you guys have institution and masajid there? They had bigger and better institutions. They had bigger and better libraries. They had bigger and better Islamic environments there. Islamic Spain was the jewel of the earth. Cordoba, southern Spain was the jewel of planet Earth. Everyone would look to it as the pinnacle of infrastructure, of architecture, of advancements on Earth. And guess what? If you go there right now, it is bare ruins, flat land, just ruins. Land that is just no one inhabits anymore. Museums now, pretty museums with just pretty architecture that the Muslims had. And guess why? Guess why we lost this? We lost this because of something called mulukul tawaifs, because of petty kingdoms. Every single person and community there. They would have a difference with this person and a difference with that person. They would argue with that person and argue with that person. And then the Christians came and destroyed them all at once. And then when the Christians took all the books, they took all the Islamic literature, and this is what they did. They put it inside a square and they burned all the books. They burned all the books because Europe was in the dark ages. Europe, they were still urinating in buckets and throwing them out the window. They did not have sewage, they had nothing. London was a village. London was a jungle at this time. While Islam was thriving, people would come from Europe and London, and the Romans, they would go to Islamic Spain and they'd come back wearing their clothes and thobes and abayas for the women. They would be doing that. Why? Because they emulate them. They were the princes and the kings of the earth. And this is what they are now, is they are totally wiped out. Muslims at that time were had the height of knowledge. The Christians came and they took all of the sciences, everything about geology, about oceanology, about astrology, about every type of medicine and science and all these different things of kind of modern day. We see the forefathers of knowledge. We see the West as them, America, and they're the Einsteins of the world. Yeah? Okay. When the Renaissance happened, when Europe started becoming enlightened and Europe started to take over the world, guess how that happened? That happened when they translated all of the books from those who were in Spain. And that's how it all started. But this is what they don't tell you. This is what they don't tell you. They don't tell you this part of history. And this is why, my beloved brothers and sisters, you need to know something. That today, you may have an identity in yourself that I am shy to be Muslim sometimes. I'm amongst my non-Muslim friends. But wallahi, brothers and sisters, you need to realize something. That your religion has given you the biggest izzah and glory on planet Earth. Today, they can't even define what a woman is. They want women's rights, but they don't even know what a woman is. But a woman can go and take over a man can go and take over women's sports. And women are over-sexualized. But hold on a minute, if a woman sexualizes her own body herself, that's okay with OnlyFans and all this going on. They're confused. Everyone's confused right now. If you look to them as to get your moral standpoint, your moral lifestyle, how I need to live my life, wallahi, today, you think like this, and tomorrow, you think differently. Go and ask your grandparents what they think of the current gender wars and the gender semantics. Go and ask your grandparents. They'll give you a slap in the face, like, what the hell are you doing? But guess what? Your grandchildren, if you indoctrinate them with Western ideologies, they will be your enemies, your grandchildren. Why? Because if you tell them to hold on to the Western liberal narrative as their God, as their constitution, guess what ends up happening? They will eventually hate you, because in 60, 70 years' time, it's going to be a whole new different world out there. Pedophilia, incest, all these things, they're slowly going towards that as well. And this is why we have something that is Islam. It is Al-Qayyim. It is the religion that has firm roots. Allah Azza wa Jal has told you that this religion, it will stand the test of time. It will stand the test of time, and it is the only pillar on planet Earth right now. The only pillar that the whole world can see. And this is why I'm so grateful and glad that we see a revival amongst us today in the West. Everywhere I go across Europe is packed houses, packed masjids of young people who are thirsty for Islam. You are the next generation of Islam, my beloved brothers and sisters. You are the one that is going to carry this religion in this city. You are the one that's going to take it forward. So never, ever, ever, ever underestimate what you have in your hand and what you have in your heart right now. And therefore, if you are feeling weak in your faith and weak in your iman, just know one thing. Just know one thing, that you need to take a path upon seeking knowledge. You need to find the answers. You need to learn about your religion. Don't ever settle for less. Don't ever settle for mediocre. Don't ever just be an average Muslim thinking I'm going to kick the can down the road of life. No, my beloved brothers and sisters. Wallahi, that's not the way we should be. We need to be people that have ulum al-himma, high aspirations. Because through high aspirations, we will be able to change not only ourselves, but the world around us. And I am here to give you one message, and that is that every single one of us needs to take a personal journey with Allah Azza wa Jal upon understanding their religion and bettering themselves. If you've just started practicing, if you've just started praying, if you just started wearing the hijab, and even if you're not wearing the hijab, and even if you're not growing your beard yet, and you're not praying 5 times a day, it's okay. As long as you have that vision and have that sight in your eyes that I want to get there eventually. knowing that this is going to be the only path of salvation. This is going to be the only thing that's going to take me to paradise. One day, a person asked me the question. They said to me, how can I balance between this life and the next? And I said to that brother, I said, okay, let me ask you a question. Divide your time on planet Earth now by eternity. How long are you going to be on this planet? And how long will you be in the hereafter? You will be in the hereafter forever. And you will only be on this planet maximum 80 years. Do the maths. Divide eternity by 80. It's unquantifiable. There's no number. You can't count it. You can't. So we give 99% of our time into this world, and we give 1% of our time to the life that's going to be forever. And look, I get it. I get it. You're not in the hereafter. You sin and there's no thunderbolt that strikes you every time you commit haram. I get it. And this is why to transform and take your mind and take your heart to the hereafter can only come by seeking knowledge. Can only come by seeking knowledge. And the second thing that you need to equip yourself with is surrounding yourself amongst the believers. There was a revert brother, his name is Harry. He became Muslim last week with myself and Ustad Yahya Rabi. And what happened was that he came to us and he said, I haven't told my family that I'm Muslim. And every time they're with me, they always say, we're going to die and that's it. There's no hereafter, there's no grave, there's nothing. We just end, it all ends here. And I just feel so weak and I just feel so down and I just feel like, have I just made the right decision? And subhanAllah, all we did was we spent 3 hours with Harry in a class. We went out to get some dessert. We spent some time with him. We had some food with him. It was myself, Ustad Yahya Rabi. There was a few other brothers. And at the end of it, I said, Harry, how do you feel now, my brother? He said, I feel amazing. I feel like, my faith is back. I feel like so connected now to God. I said, Harry, that is the power of having people around you, of having brothers around you, of having sisters around you. Why? Because when you have the right people around you, guess what ends up happening? You are able to transform yourself through the environment. And many people come up to me and say to me, bro, I want to get my cousin, my sister, my brother, my auntie, my uncle, I want them to get them to practice the religion. How can I do it? I keep telling them about Islam. Akhi, don't do that. If your sister doesn't practice or pray or she doesn't wear the hijab, don't tell her, hey, you need to wear the hijab because, don't do that. That's not the right way to do it. The best way to do it is to bring them to an environment like this and let the environment change them. And also, brothers and sisters, if you are coming here and you don't know many people, get people's numbers. Wallahi, I want to make it farther upon all of you now. That by the end of this event, every single one of you should go home with one new phone number. Meet somebody new, get their number, and just stay connected. One person. And if you haven't got someone new's number, give your number to somebody. Meet each other, shake each other's hands, hug each other, talk to each other, because wallahi we need each other. Wallahi we need each other. And speak to someone who you don't know as well. Speak to someone who you don't know. I'm making this obligatory upon all of you before you leave here today. Deal? Inshallah. Brothers and sisters, when it comes to attaining yaqeen and certainty, let me tell you one thing. When you want to develop your heart and strengthen your heart, you need to realize and know that your religion is a religion of the perfect blend. What is the perfect blend? The perfect blend of knowledge and spirituality. We're not here saying to you, go in the mosque and do Allah, Allah, Allah. We're not saying do that. We're not saying go and sit in the masjid and just do dhikr all day. Because eventually you will wear out. What we are saying is understand the book of Allah, understand your religion. And if you don't know where to start with Islam, start with understanding the Quran. Start with knowing about the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. And inshallah at the end I will mention to you guys a new course that's coming out with the Sunnah campus, that they are doing a basic course on how to understand the Quran, how to understand Allah, how to understand your religion. That's the first thing I would say to you. And the second thing I will say to all of you is to understand the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know, wallahi, brothers and sisters, there's a book that I would recommend to all of you. It's called The Sealed Nectar. The Sealed Nectar, Al-Rahiq al-Makhdoom. Okay? This is the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's about, 500 to 600 pages or something like that. I'm not sure. Might be totally off. 300 pages, something like that. I finished this book over 1 year and a half. Every time I would go to a lecture in London, I would open the book and I would read it. And on the way back, I would read it. And wallahi, I was sitting on the train there and I'm like in tears, like crying about the life of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm reading about his biography and about his life. And I'm saying, how can this man be this is the most truthful, honest human that has ever existed. This man is the most sincerest human that's ever existed. This is the most inspirational person. He has the most honorable and most amazing story. How am I having doubts about this man? How am I having doubts about our Nabi? The man who the Prophet ﷺ, when in battle, he would be the one right at the front. You tell me which lion would sacrifice his life. Would sacrifice his life for a lion. He was right at the front in the battle of Hunayn. He was the one that was going piercing into the heart of the enemy. All the Sahaba were like an arrow behind him. They were like that and he was at the head. This is our Nabi. SubhanAllah, 3 months would go past and the Prophet ﷺ would not have any cooked food in his house. There would be no smoke coming out of his house. The Prophet ﷺ suffered more than anyone and everyone. You tell me any person that you know that has buried 6 of their kids in their lifetime. You tell me anyone that you know that was born as an orphan. Father died, mother died, uncle died, wife died. Disadvantaged at every single cost, on every single level. Yet he said something. He said something that it should make your heart turn with love for him and love for Allah. He said, I love optimism. I think positively, I love optimism, because our Nabi, no matter what he would go through in life, no matter what hardship he went through, no matter what he felt, what he experienced, the Nabi always said, I love optimism. And he would always look at things in the positive light. He would always look at things in a light and in a way which he saw khair and goodness in. And did Allah not give him those victories? Did Allah not make his religion supreme? When his son Ibrahim died, 6-month-old baby, in his own arms, guess what they said? He is abtar, he is cut off, he's got no more lineage, he's got no more sons, his 2 sons have died, that's it, no one's going to carry his name. Allah Azza wa Jal said that they are the ones that are cut off. And then he promised the Nabi, he said, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا, and we will raise your mention. And we will raise your mention, O Muhammad. And we will raise your name, O Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, look at how we are here in Denmark. You go to the UK, you go to Canada, you go to any of the other countries in the world, 5 times a day, in every single time zone, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allah has raised the mention of His Nabi. The word Muhammad is being mentioned every single second in every single time zone. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا. Was the promise of Allah not true? Wallahi, brothers and sisters, you have to know something. You are blessed to have Islam. Because this book that we have, the Quran, our Nabi, Allah Azza wa Jalla, we have the most purest belief. Worship one God, the Creator, the one who is absolute, eternal, the one that does not need anyone and we all need Him, the one who is a supreme being. Nothing is like Him. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing similar to Him. Nothing is similar to Him. He is the all-seeing, the all-hearing, the all-wise, the all-powerful. This is Allah Azza wa Jal. This is your Lord, the one who knows you better than you know yourself. This perfect belief that worshipping one God, not an idol or a statue or a man or anything else. You have your personal link with Him, this personal relationship. Nobody can come between you and Allah. Nobody owns Islam. Nobody owns the keys to the masjid. No one can tell you that you cannot have a relationship with Allah, because Allah Azza wa Jalla wants a direct link with you. Couple that with the noble messenger who never spoke a lie. Couple that with the belief in all of the messengers. Couple that with the perfect belief that we have, the system, the code of life, the encouragement of haya and shyness for our sisters, the modesty that they have, the encouragement of brothers to be men, to pray 5 times a day, to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. Wallahi, you would think that a religion that is so strict, so harsh on its boundaries, policing all its boundaries, keeping you within limits, it would fade away, it would die. Wallahi, never will Islam die. Islam will never ever die. Why? Because this is Deenul Haq. And as Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, He said, هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. He is the one that has sent the messenger. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى. He is the one that sent the messenger with guidance. وَدِينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. And He has given him the religion of truth to reign supreme over all other ways of life. So know that you are part of a global mission and a global vision to see Islam be victorious. You ask yourself something, my beloved brothers and sisters. You ask yourself this one question: where do you want to be on this global journey? Because wallahi, without Islam you will lose. Wallahi, without Islam you will lose. But Islam without you will always win. Islam without anyone will always win. And Allah Azza wa Jalla will not need anybody. And just know that you have the perfect prophet, the perfect creator, the perfect belief system. And you have the perfect book. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allah has given us this book. Wallahi, I'm telling you something here. You know, back in 2012, they had the hairstyle, the bin bag hairstyle, right? They had that, different trends, different cars, different cultures. Everything keeps shifting and changing. But not a single harf, not a single letter in this book has changed. Allahu Akbar. As Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. Most certainly we are the ones that reveal this book, and we will preserve it from any corruption. Promise after promise after promise coming true. So therefore, my beloved sisters, my beloved brothers, have no doubt about this religion. Have no doubt about what is coming to the future. Because as Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, listen to this. وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The end is for those who fear Allah. They will have the end victory. Yes, I know our brothers and sisters in Syria, our brothers and sisters in Palestine, our brothers and sisters all over the world, in China, the Uyghurs, they are dying, they are being massacred, they are being butchered, they are struggling. And we see this, but Allah knows what's going to happen. Allah is setting up this world for a final countdown. Allah is setting everything up because things have to be bad for good to happen. Their test is also our test to help them. And you need to understand and know that there is something big happening right now. A revival of Islam in Europe. A revival of Islam in the hearts of young people. Wallahi, never have I ever seen a time where young people are thirsty for knowledge. Young people are thirsty for Islam. I came to Denmark and people are saying to me, Akhi, all of us watch your videos. I'm like, Wallahi, I'm just there recording in my front room, just delivering lectures all up and down the UK. And I'm thinking to myself, SubhanAllah, how is it that my lectures, my writings have been reached to Denmark? I don't know. But that's because you guys are thirsty. You guys want it. Your hearts are open. And this is why I say there is bushra and glad tidings and good news to every single one of you that goodness is about to happen. Stay strong, my beloved brothers and sisters. Wallahi, stay strong. Because the tide of fitna is coming and we need each other. Wallahi, we need each other. Let us not be neglectful of our religion. Let us not be people who let the baton drop. And a final message I want to give to every single one of you. I know that many of you are newly practicing. Alhamdulillah. Congratulations and well done for taking those first steps. Well done, my beloved brothers and sisters. Okay, well done. I want you to do a few things now. On this journey of yours, I want you to make a promise to yourself that anyone that is not good for you, you will cut them off. Do it at least for 2 years, just to fix yourself. And then you will read the Quran in a language that you understand. Second thing. The third thing that I want you to do is to promise yourself that no matter what ends up happening in your life, whatever sin you commit, wallahi, you could have just committed zina the night before, that you never ever miss your salah. The salah is a link between you and Allah Azza wa Jalla. And if you want your life to go in a good direction, you need that salah. You need that salah, brothers and sisters, wallahi. On the day of judgment, do you know how the Prophet ﷺ will recognize you? Do you know how the Nabi will recognize you? Everyone will be naked, uncircumcised. The sun will be a mile above your head. You think it's hot right now in here? Believe me. On that day, 1,000 years of waiting. 50,000 years of waiting. And on that day, how will the Prophet ﷺ, the greatest human, the one who everyone will run from Yawm al-Qiyamah, how will he recognize you? A sea of people, trillions of people. The greatest gathering that has ever happened of jinn and mankind. Guess how the Nabi will recognize you? The Prophet ﷺ, he will recognize his ummah on that day by the streaks of light that will shine forth from the places that you used to do wudu. From your hands and your feet and your head and your arms. He will recognize you because those streaks of wudu have light. And he will say, this one there, bring him close because he's from my ummah. That is a Nabi on that day. Wallah, if the reward for salah was just to meet the Prophet for him recognizing on Yawm al-Qiyamah, that's enough for reward. Wallahi, that's enough for reward. Because if the Nabi will recognize me on that day because of my wudu, alhamdulillah. Don't think that what you are doing in this world is insignificant. I'm just doing wudu and splashing water. There is a greater reality that will come one day. Whether you like it or not, that royal appointment awaits every single one of us. So today, my beloved brothers and sisters, take yourself to account before a day comes when you are taken to account. And lastly, seek knowledge of your religion. Seek knowledge of your religion, and no matter what ends up happening and how far you fall off the deen, always know that you can come back to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Always know that it is just one tear that sheds from your eye. That if it comes down your cheek, you turn to Allah Azza wa Jalla no matter what you have done in your life. No matter what sin you have done, no matter what you have committed, no matter how far you have gone away from Allah Azza wa Jalla. All it takes is for you to lower your head in humility. And just to say, oh Allah, forgive me for what I have done. Forgive me for my past sins. Forgive me, Ya Allah, for I have neglected and oppressed my own soul. I have hurt myself, Ya Allah. Nobody has hurt me except myself, oh Allah, forgive me. The sins I have committed, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, I turn to you in all sheer humility. Please take me back, Ya Allah, and please forgive me. Just beg Allah and speak and communicate how your heart wants you to communicate. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, we need to give each other hope. No one should put you down or tell you that you are not good enough to go back to Allah Azza wa Jal. And the biggest trick of shaitan is that he tells you that you're too dirty, you're too filthy to go back to Allah. And I'm taking people for Umrah in November, and a lot of the brothers are messaging me saying to me, Akhi, I've done way too many sins, bro. I smoke weed, bro. Akhi, I've got a girlfriend, bro. I don't know what. I said, let me ask you a question, my beloved brother. When you have a shower, are you clean before you have the shower? Or do you have the shower because you're dirty? You have the shower because you're dirty. When you turn back to Allah Azza wa Jal, do you need to be clean? No. Allah wants to see those people who have sinned turn back to Him in humility. Because through those sins of yours, you will achieve a state of humility and humbleness with Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is how He will take you back, and He will accept you. And He is not like your boss at work or your father or anyone else. Allah Azza wa Jalla welcomes you back with open arms every single time, no matter what you have done. And always remember that, my brothers and sisters. I want to speak to a lot of you guys. Wallahi, I'm so glad to be here. I'm going to cut my lecture short because I don't want to spend too much time giving a lecture. I want to interact with you guys, spend time with you guys. And one thing that I want to say, brothers, is look, this Islam in Focus group here, I want you to all get in touch with me. Brothers and sisters. Why is that? Because what these brothers are doing, Allahu Akbar, they are genuinely helping take Islam forward. Be a part of the movement. Be a part of the group. Be a part of what they are pushing out, what they are trying to do. Don't just be an average Muslim. Please, 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 man. Come on, honestly speaking, I really get frustrated and I get upset when I just see people with low ambition. I want you guys to strive to be better and to help Islam. Yes, help yourself first. Like, get on the deen, I understand. But then slowly start putting things in place so that inshallah you can help the spread of Islam in Denmark as well. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us all people who remain steadfast upon the religion no matter how many times we fall off. And at the same time we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make us people who strive to make Allah's word the highest and to get to Jannah and to take as many people as we can with us. Oh Allah, make us amongst them. Oh Allah, forgive our sins. Oh Allah, unite us in Jannah like you have united us here today. Amin ya Rabb. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.
الله وبركاته. والله سبحانه وتعالى بيوم Ustad Schweig for hans flotte oplæg. Vi går direkte i gang med spørgsmålene, og jeg beklager på forhånd, der er 30 spørgsmål, så jeg kan ikke nå dem alle sammen, inshallah, fordi vi kun har sat 20 minutter efter. Men vi prøver inshallah at gøre dem så kort som muligt til svarene. Det første spørgsmål, det lyder, og hvis jeg læser forkert, så må jeg godt blive. How to fight laziness in the prayer? This question is to Ustad Abdullah. How to fight laziness in the prayer and generally in doing volunteering ibadah.
Laziness is really comes from the shaitan. So first of all, you should acknowledge what the source is. The other thing is, the more you have bad sins and you do not frequently ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawbah, it will affect your ibadah. So the first thing is stay away from any sins. And of course, again, we sin every time, like make sure that you are someone who is repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the biggest thing. The more you repent, the more the ibadah gets easy for you. The other thing you put that with is dua. Dua is the best weapon that you have. There's no better weapon that you have. So inshallah, number one thing is stay away from any of the bad sins that you do, and just make sure that you have dua with you.
And the next question is, what's a halal way to get to know someone? I think the question is not fully described, but I think you understand what it is.
Okay, so can I ask a quick question, guys? Yeah? Put your hand up if you are married. Okay? One second. Put your hand up if you are married. Okay. So I often get asked this question, and look, some of the brothers are here from yesterday, and I answered this yesterday as well, right? Look, I often get messages from brothers and sisters saying, "Assalamu alaikum, brother, there's no good..." Sisters message me saying, "Assalamu alaikum, brother, I'm really struggling to get married, there's no good brothers out there. You know, I practice, I pray, but I can't find any decent brothers." The brothers message me saying, "There's an epidemic of good women. There's none of them left." Like, I'm thinking to myself, hold on a second. They want them and they want them, but what's going on? Like, there's no kind of like. Anyway, so okay. The solution that I'm going to give you guys, I'm still figuring it out. So it's in beta version right now. Okay, the answer. So just work with me for a minute. I've thought to myself, look, Alhamdulillah. You brothers here are young and marriageable age, responsible, looking after yourself, trying to get fit, healthy, trying to make some money, trying to get better on your deen. Sisters, alhamdulillah, you know, you guys are striving for the deen, etc. You're trying to seek Islamic knowledge. You're coming to these events for, you know, for the sake of Allah, etc. Now, here's the thing, right? Both of you crowds are doing the exact same thing in the exact same environment, but you're just missing each other. Like, as in, what's happening is that there's no way to kind of get to know each other, whatever, etc. And here's the thing. I have said that, look, in essence, it's all about maturity. Being mature, having taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, and not trying to be someone that wants to play around. Do you get it? Because then it would be a lot easier. We could introduce people to each other a lot easier. But the fact of the matter is, and unfortunately, brothers, this is the case with a lot of brothers, all they want to do is a bit of fun, chase a girl, and that's it. Like, you know, chat to her late at night, pillow talk, that's it. And, you know, you don't want to actually get serious. Wallahi, sometimes, the problem is, the fact of the matter is that maybe you're not even ready to get married and you're not serious enough. And if you do get to that level where you are, then brothers can start recommending you to their sisters or their nieces or their daughters or whatever, from the uncles, whatever. And look, there's a group here, Islamic Focus. Now, I'm not going to say that you should open up like, you know, a marriage, like, you know, portal or whatever. But I'm just saying, genuinely speaking, it's all about being involved with the community. Look, if you're nowhere to be seen, how the hell are you going to put yourself on the market? It's honestly speaking, if you're nowhere to be seen, if the uncles don't know you, if the other brothers don't know you, because you see, in my local town, here's how it works here. Most of the brothers, wallahi, by the time they're 24, 25, they're already married. It's difficult to see someone over the age of 24. Like, well, if a brother's like getting on 24, 25, we're like, "Akhi, what's going on, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening?" Yeah. Because the reality is that it's around that time where we're just like, "Bro, what's going on? Like, why is no one introducing you?" There's clearly something wrong with you, or that no one wants, to recommend you to the sister or daughter or whatever. And so the thing is that if you are around the brothers, if you are around different communities, if you are in these circles, wallahi, I would absolutely love it if you guys found good spouses with you guys. Why? Because where else are you going to find them? Sisters, would you rather get married to a random person that some auntie recommends to you? You don't know if he's practicing or praying, you ain't got any background checks, nothing. But here, if someone from here is recommended to you guys, guess what? You can speak to some of the leaders, some of the amirs. Okay, can you give me a bit of a reference to someone, know him, etc.? You can do more checks. Same with you brothers as well. You're not marrying strangers then. Because the reality is the whole generation of arranged marriages, of finding out who you're going to marry on your wedding night, and then, the sister sitting next to him and he smiles and he's got 3 teeth, right? And like, those days are gone. Those days are gone. I said that online and someone with those with 3 teeth, someone needs to love them as well, right? My point being is that those days are different. Our parents' time are different. We are transitioning into a new period. And as long as we can be mature, have taqwa of Allah, have shyness, I truly believe there are ways of, for example, recommending. A young brother who's interested in marriage, maybe make yourself known to some of the organizers. And some of the organizers, I'm just letting you guys know, maybe make yourself available to know, like, look, listen, if there are any brothers that are interested, then maybe we can pair them up as well. And you shouldn't be too shy about these things as well, wallahi. There is no shyness in wanting to marry a sister. And there is no shyness in wanting to marry a brother. There is no shyness in liking someone. There isn't. How are you going to get married if you don't like someone? It doesn't make sense. Let's stop trying to be too overly pious. Because the Sahaba, they would get recommendations. They'd meet a sister, for example, are you open to marriage? They said, no, okay, cool, no problem, I keep it moving. You're interested? Yeah, I am interested. Okay, well, let's speak to your father, let's get the nikah done. I get it now, we need to do some more checks and stuff like that, that's fine. Have as many meetings as you want. Sit down and talk to each other with the permission of the father, with the permission of the wali, with him knowing what's going on, right? With them aware of what you guys are doing. It's fine, it's okay. We're in a bit of a confusion because brothers are ending up 26, 27, sisters are ending up 28, 29, and they just, what's going on? They're not married. Well, we can't find anyone. We're not looking in the right places. This is the best environment. Now, I'm not saying get involved in that or work with charities so that you can get married. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you get involved, if you are part of the group, if you come to the lecture and you're putting the chairs out early, and if you're helping out with the volunteers, and if you're doing other events like retreats, and if you're actually helping out, being active, the best type of marriage is the one where if there's an active sister and an active brother and they both get married, and alhamdulillah, they have that tarbiyah for their children because they both love Islam. Wallahi, isn't that beautiful? SubhanAllah, man. Maybe it's just me, right? I'm just saying, for me, I hope that I see more of this, inshallah. So genuinely speaking, make sincere dua to Allah. And brothers, you got to have game, bro. You got to have some halal rizq as well. You got to be able to at least move in the right direction and be able to be a man. If you're not a man, then you don't deserve the girl. Let's just be honest. You got to be stepped up as well, brothers. Yeah. Now I'm not saying stand out by the door and check out every sister that walks by. That's not game. Yeah. But I'm just saying, subhanallah, get involved, be active, think, be creative, man. Genuinely speaking, you're out there to sell yourself as a man, as a person. Be someone of value, have confidence, etc. And don't be shy to let someone know that you're interested in marriage. Don't be shy for that as well, inshallah. Okay? They've asked me to keep the answers short. I would like to expand and speak a little bit more, maybe give you guys some more alternatives and solutions. But to be honest with you guys, maybe we can speak more about this. If you want some more advice, message me on Instagram, inshallah. Maybe I can speak about it.
This is a couple of questions, Abdullah. How to get into studying in Islamic universities? Is it even possible without mahram? And the next question, where should one begin in seeking knowledge and recommendation? And the third question, how do I, as a young Muslim, go seek Islamic knowledge? I have no idea where to start. And the fourth question, what advice would you give to someone that wants to seek knowledge? So, generally.
It's a whole pile. Coming to the question Saudi Arabia, specifically, they have, alhamdulillah, a lot of programs for the Western and international students in general, where, alhamdulillah, it's all funded, majority of them are funded by the Saudi government, so basically you don't have to pay for anything, and you get paid to study, alhamdulillah. Your travel expenses, everything, they take care of it, alhamdulillah. So based on the question, I understood is that it's from a female side where you need mahram for it. It's one of the requirements that you have either someone with you or where you're studying the university that you have someone there for you. So I remember that was one of the requirements. Allah, it changed now, but that is the thing. They have that requirement for the female sisters that have on that side. In terms of seeking knowledge, alhamdulillah, it's not that much of a headache where a lot of people think that you need a whole pile of books that you need to go through. One of the Salaf Salihin, he says that they studied this ilm with 1 or 2 hadith daily. That always was 1 or 2 hadith daily, that's it. What does that show you? That it starts from the simplest things. And when it comes to seeking knowledge, alhamdulillah, we have the mashayikh and the scholars to ask them those kind of questions specifically. Like where you really want to start is by the Quran. Because the Quran is the door to everything. It's the door to everything. Alhamdulillah, there's some cultures where they start with the Quran, and from there on they move on to learning the other parts of the deen. So if you're someone who's willing to seek knowledge, the 2 main things that will always be a backbone for you will be the Quran and also the Sunnah, the Hadith. Those are the 2 things. Because there's no other place you're going to get any other, everybody can talk basically, but you need some what we call a dalil, where you need to refer to what you're saying. And the 2 backbone for it in Islam is the Quran and the Sunnah. So start with the Quran, and also when you want to be someone who wants to understand the deen, Arabic language is very important. It seems like we've neglected the Arabic language. To a point, I remember when students see us when we're in other countries and we're studying Islamic studies or anything or Arabic, they'll say, what are you going to be doing with this? How are you going to find a work with this? Might as well learn something else. So this is something which it's an ideology which is very, subhanAllah, going to take us, if we take it serious, to the very wrong path. So the Arabic language is important, because at the end of the day, the Quran itself, usually the Quran, the Quran came down with the Arabic language. And if you want someone who wants to understand what you're reading, where do you start? With the Arabic language. So the Quran, the Arabic language, the Hadith, and at the same time, look for a good source. The internet nowadays became our scholars. When we're in some of the lectures in Medina University, some of the Shaykh, when they want to look up something, they will say, we're going to look up to what you guys call nowadays Shaykh Google. It's our Shaykh nowadays, Google is our new Shaykh. So what you need to know is you need to be careful for where is the sources that you're taking the knowledge. And at the end of the day, subhanAllah, something else is that we have information of our religion, but we don't have knowledge of our religion. Turns out it's an information that we have of our religion. I heard this, I heard that. Someone was trying to correct someone last time about their salah. And they were asked, you don't pray like this, you're supposed to be doing this specifically, this and that. And they asked him, where did you get it from? He said, I asked one of the aunties, she told me that. So now everybody's basically a scholar, subhanAllah. That's why in the religion, anything which you refer to someone, you have to have a backbone for it, where you refer to it. That's why it's important. So look into that, inshallah, and start from the Quran, after that in the Arabic language, and if you can do it both, alhamdulillah, all the small surahs that you're praying with, put it into that. The question which is the khushu', one of the things that helps you with the salah is by understanding what you're praying, what you're reading to. Surah Al-Fatiha, alhamdulillah, you can find it now on YouTube. You can understand it, the translation of it, the ad'iyah, the adhkar that you're reading. Be someone that knows what they're saying. Don't just worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say anything without knowing what it is. Because we read from our fathers been saying. You guys remember when uncles and the sujood in the masjid, we literally see him say, so we grew up with that, everybody saying, no, nowadays. So know what you're saying, inshallah.
The next question, should you marry a man who has no ghira?
Should you marry a man that has no ghira? So, ghira, brothers and sisters, for those of you who don't know, it's a bad word that's translated in such a way, it's like protectiveness. It's like, they call it protective jealousy. I don't like to use the word jealousy. This protectiveness over your woman. Say a man is married to a woman, right? And his wife, for instance, she wears a lot of makeup before going out. And she wears tight clothing. And he doesn't mind if other men look at his wife. And wallahi, there's like this, something that happened online. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but he's a big kind of like actor or whatever, he is, social media guy or whatever, etc. SubhanAllah, he let his wife do despicable acts with another man, and he publicized it all over social media. They call this type of person a dayuth, right? A dayuth is the person who essentially doesn't care about who looks at his women folk, who looks at his wife, who cares. Wallahi, I tell you what, if you are somebody like that, my beloved brother, you need to realize something, is that you do not deserve the title of a man. You do not deserve the title of a man. If you're someone that has that. Now, I'm not saying go out there and be a nasty, guy and be harsh and be horrible. No. What we're simply saying is that there needs to be a level of protectiveness. It's because when men fail to do this, guess what ends up happening? That is when women basically slowly lose their haya as well. We as men need to do our responsibility, and that is to have that protective love of our women folk, so that we don't want them to be being seen by the world. Because look, the whole world is sexualizing women. We don't want to do that for our women. They are pearls that are kept protected, and the only man that should be able to enjoy them and lay their gaze on them in the rightful way is their husband. And that's what we want to happen, and that's how society will function harmoniously, inshallah. Should you, as a woman, marry a man with no ghira? No, at all, whatsoever, at any cost. Because a man like that, ultimately speaking, he is not a person who is following the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. He is not a person that is taking the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, and he is not really and truly living as a real, genuine man. That's not what a man is, right? And another question that we've been getting is, and it might be the same sister asking many, many times, but basically, my husband is not practicing, or my husband is not praying, etc. What do you advise me to do? Look, here's the thing, sister, and I'm going to speak to the unmarried sisters first. Sisters who are unmarried, looking to get married, and then if you guys are basically thinking to yourself, I like this guy, I don't know, he's a little bad boy, I like that, and what it is that he's a little bit on theme, it's nice. In the UK, we have this thing, right? You might know what I'm going to say, but it's called Deen with the Hint of Road, right? And subhanAllah, I told Abu Taymiyyah this, right? He laughed his head off. He's like, what are you on about? Deen with the Hint of Road. And like, subhanAllah, certain sisters like this. It's like, they like a bad boy kind of thing, right? And then once they, yeah, cool, it's nice if you're like, chatting to him at night time over Snapchat when you're like in bed. No problem, that's cool. But then guess what? Once you get married, that Deen with the Hint of Road, the road just all comes out. The guy who's smoking weed and you think he's a bit of a bad boy, etc., because he's got a cigarette in his hand. Listen to me, let me tell you something. Do you want your child to be like him? And brothers and sisters, ask yourself this one question. This should be the determining factor over which type of person you want to marry. The person you want to marry, would you be happy as brothers? Would you be happy for your daughter to be like that person? And sisters, the man that you want to marry, would you be happy for your son to be like that? Think about that. Think about that. And for sisters especially, don't try to change a man. Marry a complete project. Don't marry a project that needs work. And I'm not saying that men are not going to have faults. I'm not saying marry, an alpha male guy who's like, fully practicing, student of knowledge, who's basically rich and all this. Listen, you need to be humble yourself. Yeah? Because the reality is some of the brothers, they're still building their lives up. And if you just think to yourself, well, I'm a man who's, 6 foot, 6 figures, and he needs to have this and that. The reality is that, subhanAllah, not everyone's like that. And subhanAllah, you also have to understand that you need to know your worth and value as well. Is that at the end of the day, sometimes as brothers we may want 10 hijabi sisters who are pious and all that, right? But then you yourself are like a scruff bucket and like you ain't got a job. It doesn't work. And sisters yourself, you may think, well, I'm a high value woman, or I'm a boss babe and I'm all this and that, etc. And I want a man who's like this. But the reality is you bring absolutely nothing to the table. Like what is happening is a dynamic which we are becoming arrogant in. Let's all humble ourselves and let's understand that the quality that a man loves is the shyness and the humility and is the homeliness of a woman. And the qualities that women love is a man who can stand up for himself, stand up for his family, take genuine responsibility and show love and respect. And women, you need to understand, sisters, you need to understand that men, they love respect and love in that order, and women love, love and respect in that order. And ultimately speaking, that's how we're going to have harmonious marriages. But it's the right expectation that's needed, and unfortunately not many people are telling you. Because sadly, you're going to go onto Instagram and TikTok, and you're going to watch all these videos of people, couple tag, vlogs, morning vlogs with the hubs, wearing matching outfits and all that. And I said to the brothers the other day, yesterday, is that you'll go on TikTok and you listen to that nasheed, La la tahsab an and then what ends up happening is you watch that, you think to yourself, oh my God, I want a life like that. I want a husband like that. He's going to sing ghuraba to me at night time and I'm going to fall asleep. Wallahi guys, you really need to understand something. Wake up and smell the coffee, man. Because life is not a bed of roses. And I always say this, the moment, and this is reality, right? You wake up in the morning and you smell that morning breath, that's reality. I'm sorry. And even for brothers and sisters, it's a little warning, right? I'm taking shots at everyone, no problem. Yeah? But the reality is that there was a brother who got divorced on the second day of his marriage. Why did he get divorced on the second day? Why not the first day? Because the first day was a wedding night, and in the morning she took her makeup off. Okay? And that's the other trap as well, is that I would advise brothers, when you have marriage meetings with sisters, make sure you have one meeting without makeup. Top tip, pro tip here. Okay? Genuine, I'm being absolutely honest with you guys. We're living in a filter generation. New filter, trying out this and that. Okay, how do I look at this? How do I look at that? Take 100 pictures, choose the best one. Wallahi, we live in a crazy generation. And this is leading to us becoming discontent in our relationship. Lower yourself. Have humility. And be very realistic as well, inshallah. And that is how we will thrive in our marriage. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make it easy for us, and ultimately Allah knows best.
MashaAllah, jazakallah khairan. Jeg begge går med til, inshallah, at vi udskyder lidt, så der er mange interessante spørgsmål, som vi kan mærke. Og vi fortsætter, inshallah. Is purification of the heart the only way to gain complete control?
Purifying your heart is what gets you to get into a mode where you are close to worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is part of it. Part of the khushu', getting it, is working on yourself and on your heart. So for that reason, you start off with working on your heart, number one. Inshallah, throughout that journey, you will start to see yourself getting the khushu'. And the best thing the way that you can get khushu' in salah, is that you prepare yourself for that salah itself. It should not be something which is like, you have someone shouting at you from this side, like, well, it's good. Allah Akbar, khalas. It should not be like that. Prepare yourself. That is why there's a time between the adhan and the iqamah where you prepare yourself. People before, there was one of them that, you guys know the blacksmith, the one that works on the swords and the metal, those kind of things. One of them would hold the hammer up on his head. While he's hitting it, he will hear the adhan and it will drop the way it was, right behind him. Or if it was down, he will drop it there. He will not continue. Why? Because now he has another duty to perform. So those steps before the salah, by preparing yourself for the salah, by taking time on your wudu. The wudu is also ibadah. It's not just a form of purification where you get it done with khalas, you have ibadah. It's a form of ibadah. You take your time there. Because as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, that when you're making wudu, when you're washing your hands, when you're washing your face, the sins also come with it. It drops away with it. So you should know that, number one. Number two, prepare yourself for the salah. Number three, what helps with khushu' is by knowing what you're saying. Again, knowing what you're saying. So that comes in again by knowing what you're saying in the salah, the adhkar, the surah that you're reading, the verses that you're reading. Prepare for all of that. With all of that, inshallah, and as we mentioned before, staying away from any sins and frequently asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawbah, you will see this in your salah. You will see the khushu' come in. And khushu', as we said, is not just something that comes in the window from one night. It's something that you need to work for. So inshallah, that's what I was saying. Allahu a'lam.
Okay, so there's a few here that I feel are quite important. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. The sister obviously asked, how do I help my husband get on deen if he's not practicing? Like I said, if he's not practicing sincere dua, bringing him to functions like this, another thing that has worked in the past as well, just look, listen, I'm just being absolutely honest with you guys, is if there's a group that's going for Umrah, etc., taking him onto that group with you, sending him away, getting certain, just trying your best to basically get him to be amongst Islamic environments. You as a woman will only be able to do so much. Continue praying your salah, continue being sincere, continue making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, and just do these small things every day. Just these small things that you can implement to try and help him get on the deen, right? It's not going to be easy, but you have to be sincere. I know that this might be your test. This might be your test. My sister has asked, how do I stay away from committing tabarruj? And basically, I've tried everything. So for those that do not know, tabarruj is essentially adorning yourself with beauty and makeup out in public. That's what tabarruj is. And my sister is saying, how do I stay away from that even though I've tried everything? Sisters, I'll tell you one thing, right? It's not easy in today's day and age because look, you are promoted, you are told everything. What are the adverts of L'Oreal? You're worth it. They're telling you that you should go and do this and that. Wallahi, that you step outside and you see, women that are uncovered and you think to yourself, I need to compete with that. Sisters, the reality is when you wear the hijab, do it in an honorable way. Do it in an honorable way. And look, also some of the scholars say that, look, listen, if you're just, for example, if a sister's moisturizing her face and she's just kind of, making sure that she doesn't, like crispy, dry skin or whatever, that's not a problem, right? That's fine. But when it's adding to it, blushes and lipsticks and everything, all these other things, and you're coming out in public, what ends up happening is that in reality, what you're doing is you're attracting the wrong type of attention. And this is not the purpose of hijab. The purpose of hijab is to protect yourself and not attract that attention. And that's the whole purpose of hijab. Hijab is obviously to make the lustful gaze move away from you. And brothers, let me tell you one thing as well. Wallahi, if you are genuine men, you will love those sisters who truly cover themselves properly over the sisters who want to adorn themselves and make themselves look beautiful with makeup and all that. Don't fall for that, brothers. Wallahi, like I tell you, don't fall for that. Genuinely find love in those sisters who have that loving and caring heart. I'm not saying don't go for looks or whatever, because look, we're all men, right? And we all know what we want. So what I'm saying is that in reality, do not sideline those sisters who, for example, are doing their best to cover themselves, because they're going through their own struggles as well. Sometimes we don't understand it. We don't understand how much pressure there is. Some of these sisters may come from homes that maybe they don't wear hijab. Some of these sisters may have friendship circles that they're trying to get rid of, and they don't wear hijab there, and they're trying to fight that, and they're trying to be the only one, and it might be a lonely, solo journey for them. So when you look for married brothers, cut them some slack as well. And my beloved sisters, also for you to also know that although it's not difficult, know the purpose of hijab, and that is to conceal you from the prying eyes of lustful gazes of men. That's the purpose of it. Once you know the purpose of why you're doing it, and you're doing it to please Allah, Allah will open doors for you, inshallah. Okay? Someone said, how do I give da'wah? How do I give da'wah to a male friend, and I'm a sister? Look, if you're a sister and you're trying to give a guy da'wah, you're probably giving him da'wah because you want to marry him, right? Like I said, don't make him your project. And brothers, do not be giving sisters da'wah. Please, give them da'wah once you're married. Yeah? No problem. But before marriage, the brothers give the brothers da'wah, the sisters give the sisters da'wah, inshallah. That's the best way, to protect yourself. But remember, listen, I'm not shutting off all the doors. I am telling you guys, it's okay to be involved in the community and make yourself known that you're interested in marriage and these sort of things. I'm not shutting off the doors. I'm just saying, when it comes to da'wah and these sort of noble actions of religion, let it be brothers to brothers, sisters to sisters. It gets a bit complicated if you start mixing things up, and obviously it's hard as well. Apologies. I'm trying to go through these as quickly as possible. Okay. Right. What do you think about mahar? It's so high. We talk about 5 to 15K. Really? One second. Brothers, let me ask you a question. Are you guys finding a problem with mahar? Yeah? Is mahar an issue?
Yeah.
You're 14 though. Okay, so you see, here's the thing. This is every different society, every different community is different. But here's the thing. I do agree that sisters should have an appropriate mahar, yeah? And I don't want to say do this or do that, etc. But here's just my advice is that, look, listen. If you genuinely want to marry the person, then don't make mahar the obstacle. And at the same time, don't make it so cheap to the point where you're just easy come, easy go as well. And if my daughter gets married, I'm not going to have a high mahar. I'm going to have a reasonable mahar. For example, see what the guy's income is. Let's say he's making £30,000 a year. I'm going to say, okay, cool. The mahar needs to be at least what, £3,500. £3,500. Why is that? You know, it's reasonable. Just over 10%. Why? Because if you think that it's my daughter's cheap, she's not cheap. You know, and that's how I feel. But at the same time, if you're making mahar the block to marriage, and you're causing issues as well. Yeah? So there's a balance, inshallah. If your family is not good for you or your deen, can you cut them off? Allah Musta'an. If your family is not good for you or your deen, never ever cut them off. But cut them off to the point where you do not allow them to influence you in a bad way. Okay? If they are influencing you in a negative way, you cut them off there. But never cut them off in terms of your relationship. Never think, oh, these people are jahil and this and that. No. These are your parents, these are your siblings, these are your cousins, your relatives. Stay in contact with them. WhatsApp them, message them. But don't be influenced by them. If there are haram gatherings or gatherings that you're not comfortable with, go show your face, give salam, have some food, and leave. No problem. Be mature about these things. You don't have to deliberately make a statement that, oh, I'm no longer coming to your gatherings and I'm no longer this and that. You're going to start upsetting some people. And then it becomes very difficult later on in the years. They all see you as a religious fanatic person. And then it becomes hard. I did that. Wallahi, I did that, you know. I remember my auntie said to me that, you got to shave your beard off for my wedding. I said, no, I'm not shaving my beard off for my wedding. I'm not even coming to the wedding, right? And I said these things, and I was getting harsh, and I was getting all nasty. Wallahi, the reality is that you as a young person, your blood is boiling, your blood is hot. Don't make these things that are going to harm your relationships. Genuinely try and benefit people, try and help people, but if you feel that they're influencing you in a bad way, then step away, inshallah. Okay, I have a mother who does not practice Islam. She has difficulty understanding the rules regarding Islam, and in general the routines I set for my children. She breaks those routines repeatedly. SubhanAllah, okay. So, I wish I could ask a follow-up question, because I need some more information on this. Let's say, for instance, if your mother, you say you have children, that means you live at home with your mother with your children. Okay? If you live at home with your mother and children, what ends up happening is that if you feel it's too difficult for you, then maybe move out. Maybe move out. Maybe keep the relationship good by just moving out. And I'm not saying, look, listen, moving out is just not that easy. Pack your bags and go. But I'm saying, look, listen, with your mother, you have to have sabr. You know my mum, right? I discipline my child. My son, I have a son. He's 5 years old. His name's Adam. And when I discipline Adam, I say to Adam, no, we're not going to do that. And my mum, she's like, what's so big about it? Why can't you give it? I'm like, Mum, not now. I'm disciplining him, Mum. I'm disciplining him, Mum. And she's like, stop. You know, what are you doing? You know, talking to your mum like that. I raised you these whole years. All these years I raised you. And now you're talking to me like this? I'm like, Mum, but you don't understand. This was the point. And I get frustrated and I go over work. And I just like, oh, what is this, man? So subhanAllah, you have to manage these relationships. And sometimes I fail and I make mistakes as well. We're all humans at the end of the day. We're all going to make mistakes, and let me be real with you, your parents know how to get under your skin. Yeah, I'll give you one last example, inshallah, yeah? My dad, I work in my house, right? So I have my office set up there. My dad comes inside the room and he sees a bit of mess. So when I'm filming and making videos and stuff like that, I have some camera stands and stuff like that just scattered around the room. I'm going to pick it up in the end. I'm going to pick it up, right? But you see my dad, he comes in after work, he's like, how many times have I told you to clean this up? I'm thinking to myself, Dad, I'm nearly 30 years old. And like, you're telling me, like, my ego and pride is kicking in now. And then my dad says to me, and I'm not looking at my dad, my dad's over there at the door, and I'm typing away, he goes, ignoring your father, eh? Okay, why do you make a video about that? Right? and then, wallahi, like my dad, he said, he knows that he's pushing he knows what to do. You know what I mean? He knows what to press, right? And then what ends up happening is that I said, Dad, please, not right now. I'll clean it up, please, yeah? Clean it up. And he comes back after 20 minutes and it's not clean. He goes, Sunnah Guy, yeah? Okay, cool. Right? Tell me about the Sunnah, disobeying your parents. I'm just thinking to myself, I have to remain patient because he knows exactly what to say to me. Wallahi. So with parents, you have to have a lot of sabr. Sabr times 10, you know? And subhanAllah, wallahi, when you take a step back and you realize that one day, there's going to be a day where, you know, your mother and your father call you on your mobile phone, and that mum or dad comes up, and you pick that up. Imagine a day will come when you will have no mum or no dad there. That day is going to come, brothers and sisters. So wallahi, cherish your parents, and be patient with whatever hardship or difficulty they bring in your life, because they are truly a blessing for us, always. Sorry, yes, I have over here. Can you recommend any Islamic history books, for example, about Al-Andalus? So, what I want to do is I'll give you one better. I'll give you one better. And this is good because the sister's here as well. In November, I will be taking a group of people to Andalus. November the 5th to November the 8th. Brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters. So sisters, if you have like a mahram that you can come with, alhamdulillah, that's the ideal way. Brothers, obviously you guys can come as well, inshallah. And there's about 25 spaces left. November 5th to November 8th. Message me on Instagram, inshallah. I will say one thing though. Get ready to cry. Get ready to shed tears. Because wallahi, when you go there, you will feel like your heart is going to rip out your soul. When you see what the Muslims had, it will tear you to pieces. But it's the best, it's one of the best trips I've ever been on my whole life. If you are ready to have your iman increased, then you need to come to Spain. It is the one trip that when you go on, you will simply make you love Islam, love your history, love Allah, love the Messenger, love the Tabi'een. The Tabi'een. So how far is Spain from here? A 2-hour flight right from here, from Denmark, yeah? Guess who is buried in Spain? The students of the Sahaba. The students of the Sahaba are buried 2 hours from here, on European soil. Their blessed blood is in the soil of Spain. The Tabi'een. Their names are engraved on the pillars of the Grand Masjid of Qurtuba. La ilaha illallah. 2 hours from here, Europe. Those men that were fighting with the Prophet ﷺ, they were with the Prophet ﷺ, the Umar, Uthman, Ali, Abu Bakr, all of them, the companions, all of them, their students are 2 hours away from us here in Denmark. SubhanAllah. Spain is like, oh my God, you have to go to experience it. And inshallah, we're taking people in November. So if you are interested, message me on Instagram, inshallah. I'll send you the link to and inshallah, that's what I can recommend you guys instead of a book, because a book is only going to give you so much. But inshallah, if you come with us, you know, that will be so much better. Inshallah. Sorry, I know I've taken time away from Ustad Abdullahi. Wallahi, I just want to say one thing as well. One of the things about our Ustad here, Allah Mubarak, is that Allah has given him the blessed opportunity to go to Medina University. And may Allah Azza wa Jal elevate his rank in the dunya and the akhirah. I have spent 2 days with him and it's been an absolute pleasure and honor. And you are blessed to have someone like this within your community as well. I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal allows you to benefit from him long term, inshallah. And I want to thank every single one of you for coming here. I don't know what's happening afterwards, but I would love to meet some of you guys and speak to you guys. And just at least, inshallah, we can stay connected.
Inshallah, we will summarize some general advice from both Ustad Abdullah and Ustad Ibrahim. We will start, inshallah, with Ustad.
Says how meaning that too much talk isn't full of time. Because we're talking until the end of time. But at the end of the day, we'll leave here today with just remembering what was important for you. Not for the audience, or not for your friend or anyone else. Everybody will take something, some little words that will be remembered next week. And let those words be that make sure you work in the connection with you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After that with your parents. Because it's very important that you connect yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves to see the one that has been worshipping you for all that time in the hereafter. There will be a time where there will be no ulama left, no scholars will be left. And there will be a time where the writings of the Quran will be gone. There will be a time where the majority of us will not be here. There will be a time that maybe you will go first before that one friend has been taking you to the bad places. And next minute, you know, that because that you have passed away, that friend of yours has returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and connected himself to Allah. But then he meets you the day of judgment, that he is in the up higher ranks in Jannah, and you are written in the hellfire. So remember all of that. Remember that the best thing you can do today, again, work on yourself, work on your ibadah, work on your heart, work on the connection between you and Allah, and finally with your parents, because that will help you at the day of judgment. Because at the end of the day, the dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts, one of them is the parents. Make sure that if you have a parent, alhamdulillah, you take good care of them. Allah, I remember one of my friends one day calling me, which was my closest friend, saying to me, Abdullah, my mother has slept yesterday and she didn't wake up. I'll call you after a month, inshallah. I couldn't find him for a whole month, I didn't know what to do. After half a year, I traveled to the UK last week just to see him. I went all the way to London just to see him, see how he was doing. He changed very much. And he said to me, you know what? This has taught me the lesson that nothing is promised in this world except for one thing, which is death. Nothing else is promised. Eventually, one day your name will be changed into Mayyit. Your name will be changed into Mayyit. And your closest ones don't even want to spend a single minute with you, with your dead body. They will say, take him quick to the grave, take him quick. Because if you spend 1, 2 more, 3 more days in this world, while you're dead, your body starts to rot. Tell someone which is close to you today, if I died and they put me in one room before they take me to the grave, would you spend an extra hour with me, just sleep beside me? Say to you, no. Maybe they might say to you now, oh yeah, I'll die for you, no problem. But the next minute, nobody wants to do that. So remember the reality. What they say is wake up. Alhamdulillah, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khair for your time. And as the brother as well, we welcome him. I was born here in Aarhus, so basically all one was the one to welcome our guest. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khair. I really benefit a lot from you. And yesterday was my first ever to speak English in the Muharram. This is my second ever. And he was there, alhamdulillah, to witness and he gave me a lot of advice. And what I love most about him is that he goes, go for it. He tell people the reality. So this all benefits us first, even whether you think that it's benefiting about you guys. Alhamdulillah, it has the most good effect on us. So we have to sit down sometimes and go through what we need to say. And sometimes, first what we need to affect us before it affects anyone. If you ever want to tell something to anyone, you have to affect yourself first. It has to be something that you study first. Then after that, to tell the other ones. Because a heart can only put someone else's heart. If you want to put someone else something in their heart, it should be in your heart first. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullahu khair.
As I mentioned, alhamdulillah, I've truly met a beautiful brother and a friend for life, inshallah. You know, I'm very, very blessed and grateful that, alhamdulillah, it's happened in his hometown as well. Alhamdulillah. My final words to you, brothers and sisters, is in your journey of life, you will always have ups and downs. You will always go through trials and tribulations. So long as you remember why you were created on this earth and why Allah Azza wa Jalla put you on planet Earth and what your purpose is, you shall never be misguided, as long as you always know that you can turn back to Allah at any point in your life. Know the reality of this dunya and strive now to better yourself and to those around you. And I always say this, your aim and vision and mission and the pinnacle of the goal in life should be one and one thing only. Get to Jannah and take as many people as you can with you. Get to Jannah and take as many people as you can with you. You will never ever have a better aim than this. So if you can aim to do that for yourself, number one, and then do that for other people as well. And you have a vehicle here with Islam in focus. Allahumma barak, these beloved brothers of mine, I'm telling you, these guys are phenomenal. Get involved. Be involved. Take steps to seek knowledge. Be someone who is active in the community. And as you do that, you will find barakah and doors open in your life. If you serve Allah's religion, Allah Azza wa Jalla will open doors for you. You won't get married and you won't find fulfillment if you just sit at home, hopefully wishing and dreaming, watching videos on TikTok and chatting to guys and girls on Snapchat. That's not a life. Put that aside. Come and meet real people. Build networks. Talk to each other. Get out of that shy phase that you have and actually meet people. Exchange numbers with each other. And watch how Allah Azza wa Jalla will open doors for you if you are sincere, have taqwa of Him. I'm telling you, it will never ever fail you. You're thinking, what's the answer for me to get married? No. The answer is have taqwa, have ikhlas, meet people, network, and be brave. Have shyness and be mature as well. It will never fail you. Allah will open doors for you because Allah is the best one to open doors, inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jalla bless every single one of you. Allah Azza wa Jalla will forgive all of us if we can. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive us. Ameen ya Rabb. And inshallah, with that being said, I love you all for the sake of Allah. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect all of you to gather us in Jannah. Ameen ya Rabb.
جزاهم الله خيرا والله سبحانه وتعالى بلغ الناس والذي طبعا بنعمل فوقين إن شاء الله تعالى tusen takk for Islam. Hvis I har oplevet nogle mangler eller et eller andet, så skriv til os på Islamklubben og tilgiv os på forhånd, så vi kan gøre det bedre i fremtiden. Altså, må også have været lidt på og gøre det bedre, så lyder og får sammen sig. Der er stadig en familie, og